Hey everyone, my name is Lindy Wilson, and I'm going to be talking to you a little bit today about forages. This is going to be a little bit about how this forage is going to impact you and the livestock that is feeding on it. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, so the forage impact on production and ruminant animals. So we're mostly talking about cattle here, but this can really be sheep, goats, anything like that. So what's the goal? And whenever I ask what's the goal, I'm kind of saying, like what are your plans with this? Or are you going to have a cow-calf operation with a permanent herd of cows? Are you going to buy poor cows and try to fatten those cows up and sell them? Are you going to raise starker calves? Um, what are you going to do with them? So in this case, we're looking at a cow-calf operation. So you're going to want to look at their breeding, easy calving, raising a healthy calf, getting bred back in optimal time. So how do we get there? We can base a lot of this on our forage, what kind of forage we have and what kind of production it has. A little bit about body condition score. Cows are going to have a little bit of different nutritional needs throughout the different stages in their life. So you're going to have their maintenance where they're not really doing anything extra, just performing those main body functions every day. And then through gestation, whenever they're pregnant, they're growing that fetus and still trying to provide nutrients for themselves. And then finally, lactation. So this is really important in all cows, but mainly dairy cows. So what forage do you pick? So first thing to do is evaluate your soils. This is, really to look at what kind of soils you have. This can differ on what kind of forages you can even plant there. So for something up in North Georgia, it's going to be a lot different for here in South Georgia. We don't have any fescue here, and if you were to plant it here, it would not do well at all. You also need to evaluate your ability or willingness to manage it. So how much time are you willing to put forward to this forage? And then is it possible to incorporate a legume just because a legume is going to put some nutrients back in your soil and it's also going to provide a lot of extra nutrients for those cows. Fertilizer. So why do we fertilize? Some people don't, some people do, and you're going to see a dramatic difference between the two. So you're going to see a maximum production of forage. So you're going to be able to get more forage for what you have. So if you don't fertilize, your grass is still going to be there, but you're not going to get half as much as you would if you did fertilize. A maximum stock rate. So maybe if you have 5 acres, you could put 1 cow per acre, or if you fertilize this grass, you could even do 2 cows per acre. So you're going to be able to put that maximum head of cows on that pasture. Hay production is something really important to think about here. Um, if you want to produce hay for winnow supplementation, you're going to want to fertilize that grass to make sure it's growing in order to produce the hay, but also so it has really good nutrients to it. And you're meeting the nutritional needs of the forage, not the animal. So what I mean by that is you're not fertilizing the grass to make it more healthy for the animal. You're fertilizing the grass so that the grass will be healthy enough to keep growing. Weed management. We all know weeds are very competitive. We often see weed farms, I think, more instead of forage farms. And it's very easy to happen. It happens just before you know it. Weeds reduce grazing efficiency. So the more weeds you have, the less grass you have. And then weeds can be toxic. So a couple of these pictures here, dog fennels, just the everyday South Georgia weeds here. Some of those are actually toxic. Most cows do avoid them, but not all, especially calves, as curious as they are, can go up to those and eat them. Management can be done by different approaches. So for somebody who likes to do it the easy way, or maybe not easy, but fast, you can go out there and spray it, kill them within days. You can mow it, hopefully before the seeds come out and you're just spreading those. Or you can rotational graze, which takes a little bit more manpower, but you definitely get the most out of it there. So you would definitely want to maintain your pH level. You can definitely see this on your soil test, which can be done at any of your local extension offices. This is going to determine the nutrient availability to the forage. It affects your grass growth and it also affects your weed growth. So if your pH is not right for your grass may not grow, but your weeds will. Forage maturity. So sometimes we ride by a field or a pasture, and just because something is really, really tall, really lush, we all think like, wow, that's beautiful. That's really good forage. So that's actually not always the case. So the more mature the grass is, actually the less quality it is. If it has more stems, it has more fiber, which means it has more lignin. So you can see whenever the quality goes down, the grass is really tight, it's got seed heads on it, and the roots are also good, but the yield is high, the quality is low, and vice versa, this little plant over here. So what you kind of want to see is in the middle. You have healthy root system, you have a good bit of forage on the top here, but not too much. Mineral requirements. So you always want to feed free choice loose minerals no matter what kind of forage you have. There's different kind of forages for different seasons where you want to feed more precise minerals, but you always want to have those loose minerals out there. They're essential for maintenance, growth, and reproduction in all animals. High mag mineral to prevent grass tetany. So this is whenever your spring grasses are coming in really lush, everything's just coming in beautiful. Sometimes cows have been, you know, not being fed the best quality winter hay, and then you put them on this lush grass, and they're not prepared for it. So by feeding them this high mag mineral, this will help prepare them. Winter grazing. So feeding hay and grazing a winter forage can be done at the same time. Winter grazing can also be used as a cover crop. It also improves your soil fertility just because instead of nothing growing there during that winter season, you're actually having something grow there. And then it provides year-round grazing. So you're gonna feed less hay if you have something for them to graze on. It's gonna be better for your soil. Your soil's not gonna erode if you don't have permanent grazing there. And there's just many beneficial impacts of winter grazing. Rotational grazing. This is what I would say is one of the most underutilized but most important tools. So this is going to improve your forage production and allow forage to regrow between grazing. So you're going to have deeper roots and then it's going to build your soil organic matter. So this is what I was saying requires a little bit more manpower. You've got to be able to switch those cows over. You've got to have enough fence to hold those cows in that section, but it is going to be worth your money. It improves your forage quality. So whereas you put cows in a big pasture and just let them roam, you're going to have places where it's 3 foot high down to an inch probably. So those places where they're eating it really down low to an inch, that's hurting your root growth and hurting that plant and all overall. This is also going to help with parasite control, so especially in animals like sheep, cows too, but sheep. This is a really good way to control the parasites, the internal parasites. So if you're allowing, 60 to 90 days between rotation of that small pasture, you're going to give time for that parasite to die out. Better weed control. So like I said, with them eating all the forage more uniformly, they're going to eat it all down, so that lowers the chance of having those weeds come up and grow. They're probably going to eat those weeds when they're really small if they're there. And then it's going to eliminate waste and nutrient runoff. So this is just another way you're setting up these cows to do one plot or one small pasture at a time, and it's going to keep those nutrients in the soil. So this is just a picture here to show what you feed this cow is going to impact her and her calf. So if you look at this cow here, she looks really healthy herself, and she's got this 450, 500 pound calf sucking off of her. So she could have just been on forage, went into winter with heavy forage. I'm not sure what it was here, but forage quality and quantity impacts growth and production. So it is very important to think about what kind of forage you have, what kind of forage you need, what can you do to your soils to enhance that forage. There's many different things if you don't want to change the forage you have that you can do to enhance what you do have. And you can do that by getting a soil test by your local extension office. And if you're not familiar with how to read a soil test, your local extension agent can help you go through that. And then whenever you get ready to get your fertilizer, you can take that soil test straight to the fertilizer place, show them, and they'll tell you exactly what you need. I hope this has been helpful, and if you have any questions, please let me know.